This is one of the best podcasts ever. Ever. Top 5 dead or alive.
Caviar. I'm your host, Tony, in the Ministry of Silly Talks. Graham is in the building as usual.
Yep, I'm here.
Listen, we just did a great episode of the One Graham Army. If you haven't subscribed to that podcast, then there's no more excuses. There's no more time left. It's all over.
I'm pretty much sick of explaining it to these people.
For real.
Well, you know the deal.
Yeah.
Prepare for horror.
Yep.
Prepare for horror.
Yep.
Prepare for horror.
Yeah, if you choose to not subscribe, that's your future.
Right. And then
you may even hear that song coming from the distance.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, what is that?
Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
No. You know what it is. You can question it all you want. You can act like you don't want it. You can deny it. This is climate change in physical form. We're coming for you.
Yeah, you're not talking your way out of this.
Two things that are guaranteed. No, it's three things. There's death, there's melting of the icebergs, and there's us coming to you.
Yeah, we're going to, if you don't subscribe.
Yeah, you didn't subscribe to us.
Yeah, and generally, it's almost it's unfair to a lot of our listeners to keep mentioning this, but, I assume some people who listen to our podcast play it around other people.
Right.
And those are the ones who really need to hear this message.
Oh, yeah.
We're trying to help you.
Yeah. No? Yeah, we're giving you fair warning. We have given you fair warning. I mean, it's, whatever. But
I'll tell you this.
I got a little getting even to do.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Exactly.
That's pretty much what it is. Hey, listen, before we get into this episode, check out Shirt Caviar, shirtcaviar.com. I have lowered the majority of the prices of the shirts down to $20 or below. So, like I said on Graham's podcast, the list of excuses is depleting pretty fast.
Y'all quit playing.
Yeah.
Quit playing.
Quit playing and start, hey, we made some sales this past week. I appreciate that. Thank you for everybody that has bought a shirt and who will really, actually spend money.
Patronizing the site.
Patronizing the site, because this is amazing. You can get good quality shirts which are expertly designed for prices that are $20 or below. I mean,
Fill that bag up right now.
Right now. Go to shirtcaviar.com and fill that fucking bag up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Today we have a great episode.
I'm stoked.
Last week was Lizard People.
Yep. Last week was just, I feel like we were just kind of warming up.
We were warming up, right?
For the wild shit.
And we still knocked it out of the park, right?
No, it was fantastic.
And
it was a great episode.
We're still here. So, yeah.
Well, that's because we're lizard people. Dude, I must say that design for the lizard person shirt, like, when I very first saw the lizard person design, I was like, I was taken aback because he looks like reluctant. Like he's like, fuck. Yeah. I'm a shape-shifting being from another planet.
Right.
But I have to, if we want to meddle in these human affairs, you got to put in your hours.
Yeah.
You know
He's got his little suit on with his tie and shit.
And he just looks so comfortably numb.
Right.
Just kind of resentful.
With his fucking suit, his briefcase. He's just like,
gotta go.
That's what I gotta do.
Gotta go meddle in these affairs of humanity for an unspecified reason.
Right.
They're like intergalactic government employees.
Yeah.
It's like,
exactly. That's exactly what he looked like. Yeah. That shirt will be up on the site here pretty soon within the upcoming week. I put it together.
We're going to put both patches on.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. Both patches on both sleeves, and to represent Pod Caviar and One Graham Army.
Yep.
And like I said, $20 or below. It's going to be, hey, listen. I don't know. I've run out of vocabulary to explain to you guys what you need to do. I mean, come on.
Yeah, let's get it together, folks.
It's going to be on there. Go check it out. Buy it. and then enjoy it, and then wear it, and then when people ask you about it, tell them, and then not only just tell them about the website, tell them that they're running out of time, and then walk away.
Yeah.
And that's
Tell your
all
friends.
you gotta say.
Just say, hey, if you listen to the most recent episode of the 1 Gram Army, I believe we are running out of time.
Right, yeah.
But for real, you're running out of. You're running out of personal time.
Yeah, you're definitely running out
This
of
isn't
time.
a cosmic event. You
No,
know what I mean?
no. This is more of a personal event.
We're coming to see.
We're coming to make a visit. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So all you got to do is be like, hey, where'd you get that shirt from? That's pretty cool. Oh, I got it from shirtcaviar.com. Go order one right now because you're running out of time. And then that's it. Walk away. You know, like, what the fuck?
Yep.
Yeah.
You're running out of time, folks.
Hey, today we have the tale of DB Cooper.
Wait, I have a quick question.
Go ahead.
Just, I don't mean to interrupt, but what do you think the value is of us threatening all of our listeners? And I don't know if it's helping either of our podcasts, but it's one of the most fun things we've done.
It is so satisfying.
It feels so good.
And this goes back to when I just had Game Caviar because I did the whole smash that like button and then share, and then you know, if I get 10,000 likes, fuck all that.
Yeah, like you're asking people
real,
to. Yeah, you're begging. It's like you're asking people to do you a favor.
Real. And I went away from that. I let that shit go away. Like Bill Burr said, when you let the little stone, the curling stone go away. And then I went to a realistic thing, and like, if you like it, click like. If you want to subscribe, click subscribe.
Yeah.
If not, I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to stop because I enjoy doing this, just like we enjoy podcasting.
Yeah.
But threatening people is unbelievably funny.
Why does it feel so good? It's
so
people who are already
dude.
listening.
Yeah.
If someone's listening to this, they did the thing.
Yeah. They did the thing that we telling everybody.
Yeah. It's like if you were doing a robbery and the guy who gave you all his stuff, you kept the gun on his head.
Yeah. He's like, come on, I don't have anything.
Yeah.
Can you move the gun?
Other people in this room have
like,
stuff.
No. There's like 5 guys over there laying on the ground. You see him. I know you see him. You told him to get down.
Yeah.
Go bug them. Stop nudging me with the gun.
Exactly. Just
I gave you all my money.
Side of my head.
You were like, no. Give me, give me the whole wallet.
Yep.
I don't give a shit. Give me the wallet.
Penitentiary trick.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But no, it's fun. If you already subscribed, we're just fucking with you. If you haven't subscribed, we're not fucking with you at all.
That's why it feels so good, because we're so genuinely fucking serious.
Right.
We have a van.
Yeah.
We bought a van.
Yeah.
We're coming to see you.
Yeah. And it's like the Uncle Buck type, exhaust where it backfires and shit.
Oh, yeah.
Like, no, you're going to hear us.
Yeah.
You're going to hear us. You're going to hear the boom, 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 boom. You're going to hear
Only
that.
one fucking song plays in the van.
Prepare for horror.
This is the only song we listen to.
Yeah.
Prepare for horror.
We're unhinged, people.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with us.
Yeah, just click subscribe. For God's sakes, click subscribe.
I didn't mean to send us back down this road. But I had to
This is the most psychotic telethon ever. And we're planning on putting on a telethon.
Yes,
and
for
it's going to be
YouTube
even worse.
subscribers.
And it's going to be a whole visual and everything. I mean,
no. Yeah, I meant to talk to you about that. Once I put these, when I get back from Chicago next week, I'm going to put the curtains up in here. I may even redo your side.
Yeah.
And we're really going to get it on. Like, I'm going to figure out how to do this live.
Dude,
and
I want to do this shit to where I get a cheap suit with a wig and everything. Like, no, we're going to go all out.
Yeah. Maybe have like a remote, like in another room.
Oh, yeah.
With a big board.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not, no, that is
No, we're not fucking around.
That's definitely a larger, like, piece of the pie that we got to bite out.
Yeah. Yeah,
and, like,
and we're still doing the Caviar
threatening
City
telethon.
Yeah.
We can pre-record calls like from people who come in like
and
they came to my house.
Please, just for God's sakes, just subscribe before they come to you.
It's not a joke. They came to my house.
And it's a guy in the back like, all right, lady, that's enough. You hang it the fuck up. You got your point across.
Yeah.
Hang it up. You know what it is. Yeah, nah. Yeah.
It's going down.
No. And then all of that is under the in the universe of Caviar City, and it's all
it's
1 Gram Army is the protecting force of Caviar City.
We haven't even scratched the
I mean,
surface.
I got you. You're the mayor, and then I got a police chief. I got I got the villain.
Excellent.
And then I got a couple more people. Like I'm filling out the roster now of the characters, and everything is working really well, and it's coming together We already got the ideas of how we want to shoot it. We have the technology. Everything is coming, and I mean, it's doing great.
Fuck yeah.
It is on track.
Yep.
And then the telethon
But this telethon is
oh
gonna
my
be
God,
glorious.
Yeah.
Glorious.
Yeah. It's great.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good time.
It is. And this
Unless you don't
podcast-
subscribe.
Oh yeah. Unless you don't subscribe.
Then
If you
it's
don't
just a good
subscribe,
time for
then-
us.
Yeah, then it's a good time for us. You, on the other hand, that's a living nightmare.
And I'm not
is.
saying, look, I'm not saying we don't want to come to your house.
Right.
I'm not saying we don't really enjoy this kind of thing.
Right.
But we're willing to give you a pass if you just click
If you
subscribe.
just click subscribe, you know, I mean, we have a service where we want people to subscribe and we want to get it out to as many people as possible, and we're willing to go to extremes to make that happen.
Absolutely.
Is this not any different than people who train for the Olympics
I don't
going
think so.
12 hours a day? I mean,
No.
come on. When they do it, it's like, oh, great job.
Yeah.
Great job. You
We're
work so
em-
hard.
we're
When we do it,
embarking-
we're like creeps. No,
Yeah.
no, we're not.
We're
No.
embarking on a process that really
Yeah.
can only succeed if you have a following.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? 'Cause we're going to
Exactly.
keep doing it.
Yeah.
But we're also at the point now
Mm-hmm.
where we recognize that the quality of the product is such that
Yeah.
there's just no more excuses.
There's not.
And we're just going to
There's
come
not.
we're
Yeah.
going to come holla at you about it.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to come, we're going to come see you.
Yep.
So
That's
you
where
know.
we're at.
Yeah.
It's good now.
Yeah,
You
it
know?
is.
Almost
It's great.
This is the 50. We didn't realize it, but I mentioned it before.
Yeah.
the
Oh, yeah,
podcast.
yeah,
This
yeah.
is the 51st episode of your
51st
podcast.
episode. That means the 50th episode was Lizard People, season 4, episode 1. And then you mean to tell me that you don't want to subscribe
Right.
after we did the Trail of Terror, after we did the Ad Max, and now
The
we're doing
absolutely
I mean,
insane off-season content.
right,
I
that
didn't even
too,
know what
like-
that meant. I, one of the other things I enjoy so much about podcasting with you is that in the early stages, obviously not now because we're
Right.
both on the very same page.
Yeah.
But like, I'm kind of a self-effacing dude. Like, I don't have like a lot. Like when I make something that I enjoy, I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know if other people are going to enjoy this. You've
Yeah.
been very Kanye about the podcast process to
Yeah.
this point.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I love that because there's a good balance there.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I
There
mean?
is, yeah.
And now I'm on board. Mm-hmm. And it's time to take our message directly to the
It is.
people.
Yeah.
Directly
Directly, yeah.
to the people.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Hey.
houses.
It is what it is at this point.
Yeah.
It's above. This is the going saying right now. The popular saying is it's above me now.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're
So,
13 minutes in, so
Yeah, we
probably
spent
ought to
over
start the
10 minutes.
We're like, this podcast is so good, but we just spent the first 13 minutes. Say this is where I'm critical of myself. Yes. If I'm
With me, I'm like, no, fuck them. They
Yeah.
need to hear this shit. I
Yeah,
don't care.
exactly.
No, we'll run over time. I don't care.
It's
No,
all right.
we're gonna do this.
All right. We're podcasting, folks.
Yeah. All right. Today we have DB Cooper. Another conspiracy that I have done extensive research on. I have dabbled in this in years, but then recently when I wanted to incorporate this story into the podcast, I sat down and I looked at everything and I did my due diligence and I came up with something that I think is the correct outcome of this. This is another one of these situations where somebody has made the United States government look bad, except for they didn't get caught. So there's nobody in AdMax. There's nobody that has ever been really charged, tried, and found guilty of this act.
Yeah, I guess that's the most important thing to mention about DB Cooper.
Right, yeah,
That's not,
yeah.
It's just a name.
Okay, so in 1971, there was a guy Dan Cooper. He didn't start being called DB Cooper until he was misidentified in the media reports. So we're going to keep calling him DB Cooper because that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, well, and that's how people recognize
Yeah,
it.
and that's the recognition. Dan Cooper just sounds like some guy at the softball game. But
Yeah, I don't like that one as well.
You got a guy, Dan Cooper, who was on a flight, a 727 aircraft. He ended up hijacking it in November of 1971. Now, I put November in there because that's what happened, and it's very important to the story itself later on. He got on the plane. He ordered a 7-Up and a bourbon. He wrote a note, and he gave it to the stewardess, and then she thought that he was giving her number.
Dude, that's
giving her
like
his
how we
number.
start the podcast.
Yeah.
Like this dude did it like he was about to go on stage.
Right, yeah.
Like he was like, all right, I'm going to need a shot.
Yeah,
and then we'll
that's
get-
yeah.
get
Is
this
that
thing
not how we
started.
do? Yeah. And like, nah, we got some beer. Let's take a shot and then
Yeah.
let's go. Let's roll.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
He was doing something a lot more
Oh,
stressful
yeah.
than this
Oh,
podcast.
yeah, right, right. Yeah, he gave her the note. She thought that he was passing her his number, like he was trying to holler at her or whatever.
Yeah.
But he was like, "No, bitch, you need to pay attention to that note
Yeah,
because this is
read
some real
that.
shit."
Yeah, read that.
Yeah, open the note and then it's like, I'm hijacking this plane, blah blah blah. I have a bomb. You need to do exactly what I said. So the plane, yeah. That was his first remarks.
Come out of all that shit.
Yeah, that was his first remarks when she originally did not pay attention to the
pay
note.
attention to the note.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh, excuse me, ding, bitch.
Yeah,
Pay attention to that
exactly.
note
I'm gonna
because
need
this
you
is some
on
real
board
shit."
here. Yeah. Did I
they,
mention?
I got a little getting even to do.
Yeah. We're gonna get into that too because that soundbite from OJ is very relevant to this whole story. Of course, a lot of people, you don't hijack a plane because you're bored.
Right.
Okay? There's normally some sort of overarching message.
You have a
or
motivation.
you motivate.
You have,
Yeah.
some
Would you
sort
say
of
the means, the motive?
delusion.
Yeah. There's a
There's
lot of
something.
that.
Yeah.
And this is what we have. He managed to have the plane land, refuel. The passengers got off. He stayed on, and then the plane took off and then landed somewhere. No, it took off. He got the money, 2 parachutes. It took off, and then he put on one of the parachutes, jumped out the back, and then that was it. He got
so
away
the
with.
pilots landed safely and everything.
Yeah, they landed safely. All of the passengers got off, and then they gave him 2 parachutes and then the money, $200,000. They got
gave
all
him
that.
the parachutes.
Yeah. That was part of the
What he
negotiations.
negotiated.
Yeah.
Jeez, dude.
So they got all that. They refilled the plane. The plane took off, and then in the middle of Oregon, he put the parachute on. He had the money, jumped out the motherfucker, and then that was it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Dan Cooper. That was where his story ended. There has been no trace of Dan Cooper since then. They only found $50,000 of the money was recovered, and that was in the Oregon wilderness. Somebody just happened to fall upon it. It matched up with the serial numbers that were recorded by the FBI, and then it was like, okay, cool. So, and I believe they found the parachute that he used, but that was it.
Yeah. And I know a guy who wouldn't think it was very impressive that he did that.
I tell him to put some on his finger. That's an old penitentiary trick.
That's it, baby.
That guy's not impressed.
Yeah, no, that's all you got to do. Yeah.
It's easy.
Oh no. The FBI spent the whole
negotiation thing, though, not to slow things down, but the idea that he was able to negotiate these terms
was crazy.
It has to have a lot to do with the time, I guess, and then sort of because we all remember if you flew before 9/11, which is weird because it's like a generational gap.
It is.
There are
No, it
people
really
who
is.
have been in an airport before 9/11 and people who have not.
Yeah.
And they're 2 completely different experiences.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if people remember, because when I was a kid, my parents were separated. So, when I lived in Missouri and went to Chicago all the time, and then eventually moved to Chicago, I'd fly back to St. Louis all the time. The airport was like a bus terminal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what I've heard. And I didn't experience it, but that's what I've heard.
Yeah, dude. No, it's crazy. If you think about it, it's hard to imagine with Atlanta because the way it's structured, everything's so separated. But if you've ever been to Chicago, Midway or O'Hare or Lambert,
I've been to
St.
O'Hare.
Louis.
O'Hare is banging.
Yeah, if you've ever been to one of those older airports, though, there was no security. You would there was security, but it was just a metal detector and a bin for your metal. And you put your metal in, they'd x-ray your bags, and you just you'd walk through.
Right.
Similar, but nothing like it is today. And in order to get through security, you didn't have to have a boarding pass.
Yeah.
Just if you went in that part of the airport, they wanted to take a look at you. And other than that, Hare Krishnas is like a religion, and I've always wondered. I've always been thought about trying to write a bit about it. Would be in my theoretical 5 minutes of stand up is a bit about whatever happened to Hare Krishnas because that was they were in airports crazy, the bald dudes with the ponytail coming out of their head. They were always in there passing out literature.
They made fun of those
shit.
dudes in Airplane. The movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, when he's in that scene where he's beating up all the people who are bothering him in the airport terminal, that was a real thing.
Yeah.
I was a kid. One of the earliest memories I have of thinking something horrible was funny was I was super young and I was with my dad and a couple of his friends in an airport, and a dude rolled up on a wheelchair and handed everybody one of these mini a little plastic pack with mini screwdrivers in it, and a business card was attached to it that was I'm deaf and I sell these to earn a living. You know, you can keep this, but please,
those fucking
either return it or donate money.
Yeah.
And I remember my dad being like, being like, what kind of hostage bullshit is this, or something like that? Like, what's going on here? He said some kind of fucked up thing, and then one of his friends was like, hey, and he was like, he can't hear me. Yeah.
That's awesome.
But he probably could hear him because it probably was bullshit.
Yeah,
And
no,
it's
it
like-
was bullshit
but
because I've ran
Yeah.
into people like that.
But
and I'm like, no, this is a scam.
The
dude.
way people viewed airplanes and air travel before 9/11 is so different.
Oh yeah,
Because it's like it would be like this occasional thing where someone would hijack a plane, but it was almost like an acceptable deal because they would always leave the pilots in charge.
Yeah,
They'd have them land somewhere.
Yeah.
Even if commandos had to come in, they would always negotiate for at least the women and children.
There was only that one time. I think there was one time where that I remember where the plane had crashed in the ocean after it got hijacked.
Yeah.
It used to happen fairly regularly. I'm not going to say often, but it happened more than it happens now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was that, and then
And
they
that
had
was
like bombings at LAX.
And of
when-
course, that was the
Yeah.
assumption of the passengers and the people on the ground during 9/11 was like, ah, shit, these guys hijacked these planes.
Yeah.
Nobody considered that.
nobody's gonna. Yeah.
No, it's not working.
Oh shit! What happened? Oh fuck!
Oh, I turned
no.
it down. I need my
Oh,
therapy
fuck.
button.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Better.
Yeah. No, we call this the
Don't think
therapy
about
music now.
9/11. Think about 9/11. Think about cats. Think about cats.
Yeah. If you go back to the Trail of Terror, it ended on 9/11. Please, as a side note, go back and listen to that whole season.
Yeah.
That shit was journalistic. It was a journalistic masterpiece.
It was magic.
and it was completely different than the Ad Max, which kind of crashed. Still
That's an
great.
old penitentiary trick.
Yeah, still great.
I don't mean to
but
keep leaning on that soundbite, but
it does.
just
I
is
mean, it's so
applicable
relevant.
to
Yeah, it
everything.
is. Shit.
I just don't need that many more sound bites other than that. And
Y'all quit playing.
Yeah.
Quit playing.
Yeah. Those two right there.
yeah, pretty close.
Damn, let's get back on track. Hold
All
on.
right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, so he got the $200,000. He jumped out of the plane after it took off, after they did whatever. They found $50,000, and then that was it. The FBI has been doing all this research. They talked to all these people. They talked to the stewardesses, the whole crew. Tina Mucklow is the stewardess that spent the most time with Dan Cooper while he was on the plane. That's going to be very interesting and very important later on. Somebody that they focused on and that they thought was Dan Cooper was a guy called Bob Rackshaw. I wrote down that he was thought to be Cooper. He was a Vietnam vet. He had training on piloting, parachuting, all this. He was also really deep into crime, and I mean serious crimes. And I mean to the point of he was accused of breaking into the armory of the Army National Guard base that he served at and stole a bunch of M1 Grands. And I think 1911,
Jesus.
he was accused of stealing a whole warehouse of dynamite. He was accused and charged and tried for murdering, I think, his stepfather. He was acquitted of that. He also has a life of double identities and being other people and showing up and trying to
Clearly a candidate for this kind of behavior.
yeah, successfully taking identities of other people. He was what is it called? Described as a risk taker. Even in the war, he took on high risk missions, flying into areas of a lot of hostility to rescue fellow servicemen or to just complete missions. And that was this guy, Bob Rackshaw. Even for a lot of the years after that, when people tried to jokingly say that he was DB Cooper, he said that he wouldn't give a yes or no. He would just kind of laugh it off because it was he came back and said that he liked the idea of being associated with the whole situation, but it wasn't him. So
what was he was a person that was like mistakenly identified.
He was
as.
mistakenly identified, and he was in the area. He was.
Is this after it became a mystery, or was he like one of the early on suspects?
He was one of the early on suspects. You know what? I say he was one of the early on suspects. The FBI never said that yes or no, but they did a lot of questioning because of his background and his crazy background. If you look into Bob Ragshaw, him alone, aside from his DB Cooper situation, that could be a podcast episode
just
of
about
itself.
that guy.
Yeah,
no, it sounds absolutely
wild.
insane.
After the DB Cooper thing, he showed up to his family in Northern California, I think, and he had like all this money all of a sudden, and they were like, "Where did you get all that money?" But he never said. He took his family to Disneyland, and all expenses paid, and he did all that, paid with cash and all that shit, and he would disappear and then come back, and then it was wild.
But they never like raided this dude's house or like dug up the floorboards or anything?
No. It was done.
They
This
must have
whole
cleared him on
hijacking.
that.
This whole they didn't 100% clear him, but they didn't 100% accuse him of doing it either. There was just not enough. There wasn't enough evidence to link Bob Ragshaw to what happened with DB Cooper, and because of everything that I said, acquitted for murder, suspected of robbing an armory where he like cleaned that shit out, and then he stole a bunch of dynamite. This guy knows what he's doing. He is like the living, breathing Ocean's 11 movie. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, right by himself, right? He also had he was also accused of stealing a plane, and he showed his ex-wife that he had a whole fucking plane just hanging out somewhere. This is what we talked about the laissez-faire mindset of law and people back then.
What are we? Yeah, why?
You know?
So he did it.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, but here's the thing. What I concluded, right, is that Bob Ragshaw, Dan Cooper, might not be his real name, but he was a real person, and he was on that flight. It was very easy for people back then in the 70s to disappear and then nobody never hear about them again.
Could, and like I was talking about earlier, you could get on a plane then and not be the person you say you are.
Yeah, it was very easy to do that.
You could have definitely done it.
Mm-hmm. And the person, whoever Dan Cooper was clearly wearing, he dyed his hair, slicked it back, was wearing makeup to change his complexion.
Yeah.
He might have been wearing contacts. This Tina Muckra was the flight attendant on the flight that Dan Cooper was on. Spent the most time with Cooper during the hijacking. They did a lot of investigation, the FBI, and then like armchair investigation.
Yeah.
And then they did a documentary. The History Channel was involved in it, and then there was some amateur investigators. They talked to her and they showed her a picture of Ragshaw. And she said that, no, that's not the guy that was on the flight.
Right. Did they show her a picture?
They didn't. I don't know. I didn't see.
Dan Cooper is.
I don't
see.
No,
I'm confused. Dan Cooper is confusing
but see,
me a
they
little
didn't.
Bit. I'm sorry.
They
I don't
didn't.
want to derail things
No. They didn't. They don't know who Dan Cooper is. So they just had a sketch of him,
and then the name.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was it.
That's
So
what I
she
saw.
knew.
Yeah,
she knew who Dan Cooper was because he was on the flight. So the sketch was she probably told the FBI what he looked like, and that sketch was, she would had a hand in that sketch. But they showed her a real picture of Bob Ragshaw, and then she said that wasn't him. Yeah, this is some X-Files shit for real.
I can't help it. This is absolutely necessary right now. Just
it
keep
is.
going. This is just
no, but
I'll make your life difficult when you go to edit this, though. You'll have to find this part.
She said that the guy on the flight wasn't Ragshaw, and Ragshaw, for me, that with her being spending the most time with Cooper and her seeing that picture of Ragshaw, saying that it's not Ragshaw, he wasn't on the flight, and the fact that whoever Cooper was, he jumped out of the plane they gave him 2 parachutes.
Yeah.
One was the newer model, one was the older model. He chose the older model that was used for training.
Right,
and
which
that
would lead you to believe that he had trained with that parachute before.
Yeah, no, well, not even that, but he didn't know. He didn't have enough knowledge of parachuting to pick the newer chute. The older chute had the reserve chute was sewn shut.
Yeah, but I would say though, if I can, that like I think that that's obviously an indication of when he learned how to parachute.
That too.
You know what I mean?
Maybe,
Because
yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
What the fuck is this?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
possibly like
Maybe,
that
that might have
point
been
to
it,
an
yeah.
era of when he was trained in parachuting because he chose the older chute because he was like to him he's like fuck that, this is all reliable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, that's plausible too.
Yeah.
But from what I got out of it is Cooper jumped out of a plane with an older chute and jumped into negative 70 degrees Fahrenheit wind chill at 200 miles per hour at night in rain in Oregon in wilderness in the middle of nowhere without a helmet. He didn't even ask for a helmet.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Although I think at that point you're going for broke. And that is something I wanted to mention too briefly is that like, you know, having been in the Air Force and especially like when I worked, because I worked those tankers, like the in-air refuelers, and they were always, you know, there's like 4 parachutes in the plane, and a lot of times you'd be on there with like 20 people.
Yeah.
But the other thing that a lot of people say though is like, you know, if you were to try to parachute out of a KC-135, it's not possible.
Right.
Like you can't.
Yeah.
You won't clear the wings. The bottom of that aircraft is littered. So if you went out the front, the bottom of the plane is littered with all of these like radar antennas. Like there's all this shit dangling down on the bottom of the plane.
It really is.
Like you wouldn't just slide across the bottom of the fuselage and come out the other
those
side.
engines are big as shit too.
Yeah, so you'd get ripped to pieces or bounced into one of the engines.
Right.
And then if you went, and then they say if you go out, because there's over wing hatches, so, and they say if you go out the over wing hatch, you'll slam into the what are those, the vertical stabilizers?
Yeah, vertical. Yeah, the vertical
like
stabs in the back. Yeah,
the horizontal stabs coming out of the tail of the aircraft.
Yeah. With it being a what is it, a 727? The 727 had the engines in the tail, so they were up in. You didn't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
It was a pretty sleek plane.
Still,
the wings were clear.
I have to imagine he did quite a bit of research then, perhaps.
Yeah, but the thing is, what I think is. I wrote down that, and I think this.
Like, do you think he just got shit ass lucky?
No. Okay. I think he died, and I think that Cooper.
Sorry, I think that
I think that Rackshaw worked with Cooper, and that Rackshaw screwed Cooper over, and that Rackshaw not only recovered some of the money, knowing that Cooper wasn't going to survive that jump.
But he had kind of an idea of where the money may land.
Yeah, and then he picked up that money as much as he could find and then got into a plane. There was FBI agents that said that witnesses heard a small plane take off in that area after Cooper had jumped out of the plane. It's virtually impossible for somebody to survive without any. This guy had loafers and a suit on, like he was Dapper Dan.
So he didn't
in the plane.
have like a bag with him of like equipment you would need to make like to disappear in the woods.
No, unless this fucking Tina Makarov person was absolutely lying and he changed, which is okay. That's also plausible, but at the same time, if dude with fucking loafers and a 3-piece suit jumped out of a plane with an older parachute, no helmet, no way to survive negative 70 degrees, he's dead. You know?
Just how retarded are you?
Yeah. No, he's dead. He's gone. I'm thinking that this Rackshaw guy, with his history of understanding parachuting and piloting and all this shit,
clearly
he fucking,
being the scammer McScamtown.
Exactly. He got this guy to do that and got the money. Didn't think that he was gonna pull it off, but when he did, he was in the area, picked up what he could, left, and then fucking got in his plane.
Trick.
Exactly. Yeah. Got in his plane and fucking dipped
and
out. That was it.
Wow.
Knowing that he didn't have anything. Even if he didn't have anything to do with it, he could have been in that area
and
randomly
happened,
and just be like, what the fuck is this shit? Is this money? Oh, yeah, I'm gone.
Yeah, because that seems like what the guy on the plane actually did was like sort of like a Hitchcock level desperation move.
Yeah.
You know, that like he was like some married dude who like owned money to the mob or something.
Yeah.
But it is wild though that he got to the part where the negotiations on his end were successful.
Right.
You know, he was actually able to get the government to give him $200,000.
Maybe he was a low-level dude in a mob somewhere. This could have been one big money scheme. Who knows?
I think he probably owed. If anything, he owed money.
Yeah, he might.
Somebody,
Yeah, he owed money to either Rackshaw or the mob.
Yeah.
Some people say that Rackshaw even owed money to the mob. So who knows?
And he concocted this.
Yeah, he could have. But I think that Rackshaw set this guy up for failure, and then he's dead, so he's not going to tell on Rackshaw. He's got the money. Rexhaw got the money and then left.
Sorry.
That was it.
Yeah.
Fuck it. You know? So
What the hell is wrong with you people?
all these years doing all this research, and then I think that the FBI knows this shit too. Somebody in the FBI, I pray to God, somebody pieced this shit together. There's not enough evidence to put it all together, so that's why they never came out and said, this is what we think happened. Why even waste your money on it or waste time on it? It happened in the 70s. Who gives a shit? There's bigger things to worry about now. But from what I understand, from what I read, and I pieced all this shit together, this is probably what happened. I don't know.
I think, well, look, the only thing that I disagree on is the portrayal of the person on the, or not disagree, but the thing that catches my attention the most is the portrayal of the person on the jet, whether it's Dan Cooper or whoever, like the person who actually pulled off the heist.
Yeah.
Like how insanely successful he was, but it's like the lack of exit strategy to me almost seems like a strategy.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
although you have to
Yeah.
Occam's razor it. Like you are more than likely correct. And listen, we solved the Dyatlov Pass incident on here. We've solved a number of mysteries.
Yeah.
For fucking free.
Right.
By the way.
Right. Yeah. Like when no, there's no checks in the mail.
No.
Okay.
We
not,
just
not at
saw,
all.
You're
Yeah.
like, here's these large mysterious questions.
Right.
And we've solved two now.
Yeah.
Big ones.
Yeah.
We'll solve the JFK assassination. We'll be.
We're
the
gonna
ones
get
who
that.
do
Yeah.
it.
We're gonna do that.
We're gonna nail that one, too.
That'll be the day the mob comes in and takes care of us. But
Exactly.
at the same time, the
You'll
truth
know.
will go out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
We got this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but it's just the amount of success he had is what makes it
Yeah.
so intriguing.
But my thing is that at the same time, back then,
You could just get shit ass lucky.
yeah, you could just
for
do
sure.
that, like for real.
Undoubtedly.
Yeah.
No,
And he was asking
and
for
that's-
$200,000.
Yeah, and that sounds like
know.
the more reasonable
Yeah.
answer to the question, because that's
Yeah.
also kind of a retarded amount of money to ask for.
Right.
If you're just like writing a blank check, like
Yeah, like what
not
the fuck?
300 grand, not
Yeah.
100 grand,
Yeah.
not a million,
not even $500,000, like
Yeah.
$200,000.
Or is
that's an
it-
oddly specific amount of money?
or is
you know?
it that specific amount of currency weighs X amount, and you know that it's not
Yeah,
going to fuck
maybe.
up your parachuting thing?
Maybe.
And you actually are
See,
super
that
smart,
might be
and
it.
maybe
Oh,
you're
shit.
parachuting into somewhere where you've already got shit set up. Like they heard the small plane taking off. I know this other gentleman had an airplane, but like devil's advocate,
Yeah.
this guy maybe had his shit together more than you think.
Maybe.
Sometimes you've seen True Lies and
Yeah.
James Bond. They'll
Yeah.
wear a dry suit,
Yeah.
you know, and have like a tuxedo on underneath it.
That might be it, though.
You know,
that might be
and
it.
so like maybe he was wearing
Yeah.
clothes, but underneath his clothes he was a fucking lumberjack.
And see, that's why I like being on the podcast and having you on here, because
Yeah.
we can have this discussion.
Yeah.
Because what you're saying
It's
is
all-
plausible
it's
too.
all
you
equally
know?
plausible.
Yeah, it is.
But this is how we
It
solve
is.
shit.
But at the same
Kicking it
time,
around.
I think that Rackshaw and Cooper, they knew each other.
No,
I mean that's a
there's
two-man
too
job.
much
dude.
smoke there to not
Yeah,
be fire.
yeah. And even if Cooper had a suit on that protected him, and he had his parachute, maybe they met in Vietnam and they thought about this shit and they just kept in contact. Cooper died on the jump because shit happens when you're jumping out at 200 miles per hour at the negative 70 degrees
In a
Fahrenheit.
suit.
Yeah, in a suit, in rain,
Yeah.
in Oregon, in the middle of the night. Come on, I mean, it's a daring.
Wasn't it like
it's-
November?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's
Yeah, that's
November.
what you
Yeah,
said.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So-
So
Yeah,
come on.
I've been to Oregon in November. It's like it's the most. They have the most annoying winter you can imagine, where
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
gray and rainy and super cold, but it
Yeah.
doesn't snow a lot. You just get these like balls of ice that fall out, like
Yeah,
real
so-
tiny hail. Basically, it's just disgusting.
Yeah,
and
so,
everything
I mean-
becomes completely soaked. So it does seem like it
So
would
I
be
mean,
difficult.
maybe
for
they
him.
knew each other. Maybe Rackshaw put Cooper up to it. Maybe they were into it equally, and then Cooper died because he was overzealous or overconfident. And maybe Rackshaw saw him die. By the time he got to the body, he was dead. So he just took the money and then let him go down. Fall down the river, and then I read that the river goes out to the ocean. So
Yeah.
maybe that's where he is.
Or he went to
you
pick
know?
him up, or it was precise. He went to pick him up, and they split it, and one of them did a better job of not existing any more than the other.
It may be that too.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
God damn.
Because you got to think Dan Cooper is a really basic name.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for anybody named Dan fucking Cooper, but you got a basic name. Go hijack a plane and get $200,000.
Yeah, well, and
we're giving you free game.
You could disappear in plain sight too.
You could,
provided you used your real name.
Exactly.
Which in that time would have been super easy. His name could have been fucking Bill Weatherton's.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it wouldn't have fucking mattered. Yeah, you would have been good.
You needed a fake ID at a time when IDs were pieces of paper that were laminated.
Exactly.
You know
So yeah,
like,
So yeah, it's nothing. There's a lot of possibilities, and I think that they knew each other. Either Rackshaw screwed over Cooper, or they worked on it together, and that was it. But if you have a better idea of what happened, give us a call.
Yep.
443-747-1417 or at podcaviar@gmail.com. Fuck it. Email shirtcaviar@gmail.com. I mean, at this time,
all of them.
Right. I see them all.
Yeah.
Oh, and this goes on YouTube, so make a YouTube comment. This goes on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify. Listen. Yeah, you can either get in contact with me, and then what's the number to your podcast?
Oh, yeah, if you want to call and yell at my voicemail, it's 847-665-9238.
Yeah.
I actually just realized that I forgot that I have some messages on my hotline that I've not played because I've become a fucking diva.
Are we going to do a fucking bonus episode?
Yeah. No, I don't know. I'll save them. That's all right.
That's fine.
I like to let them build up. Like, even though I only have 3, I'm like, well, what if I get a bunch of them? And then that's a whole episode of just kicking around podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking phone calls.
We're going to wrap this one up because we went kind of late because we threatened the fuck out of people.
Yeah, it took 15 minutes to get that out of our system.
But this is the trail of, or the tale of DB Cooper to retort everything that we said. He hijacked a 727 aircraft in 1971, November. He was never found, quote unquote. Jumped out, parachuted out with $200,000. Bob Rackshaw was thought to be Cooper, a Vietnam vet, had a long history of crime, murder. He was acquitted of that, robbery, etc., etc. Never charged for the hijacking, although the FBI knows of him and took a long look at him.
Of course.
He had a knowledge of piloting and parachuting. Tina Mucklow, a flight attendant, spent the most time with Cooper during the hijacking. Said Cooper wasn't Rackshaw because she was showing a picture of Rackshaw, and she had said that no, they were two different people. Cooper reportedly jumped out of a plane with an older chute and jumped into negative 70 degrees Fahrenheit, wind chill weather that was raining at 200 miles per hour at night without a helmet. And then, make of that what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Sorry, mine's still a little too loud there.
Another great episode.
Yep.
Season 4, Episode 2, DB Cooper. That's Graham. I'm Tony. We are in the Ministry of Silly Talks. Thank you for listening to Pod Caviar. Subscribe before we come to you, and we're out.
White power. How are you guys doing?